Hi, we've just been nabbed by the ILT team and caught on the hop completely, just to discuss our experiences with Blackboard. As it is, I'm Gráinne Mulholland in the front of house in the restaurant on Dungannon campus.
And I'm Patrick McInerney, one of the full-time lecturers across most of the programmes, level 2 and 3, again on the Dungannon campus. So I think we're really going to just discuss what we're currently doing in relation to the VLE and things that we've done within Dungannon and Omagh and Enniskillen, and the collaboration we've had right across the board, and how we've built and redeveloped the VLE to suit our needs and to suit what we want. So, will we take a look at VLE here initially?
Well, it's loading up there at the minute. But the first thing I think we would need to say is that it was Yvonne Swan in the Enniskillen campus who drove us down the road of getting involved in Blackboard. And Yvonne initially did a lot of training, trying to encourage us to do it. And I think that was sort of the very initial stages of trying to get us to learn how to do basic things like have a structure on the Blackboard. And I think really from where we started a couple of years back with Yvonne, we have come on leaps and bounds now, and the whole teams have come together. But that took a lot of physical meetings for us to actually say, right, who's going to do what and how are we going to work this out and how are we going to work to best advantage. And it wasn't easy initially because I think we felt this is actually giving us more work as opposed to reducing the workload. Wouldn't you say, Patrick, at the start?
Well, in relation to all the resources that we were using individually across the campuses, we were all looking and sourcing our own online resources and demonstrations and video demonstrations and materials we can use for PowerPoints. So what we were using individually may be completely different right across all the campuses. And through talking to the likes of Yvonne and Regina and other lecturers in Enniskillen and those lecturers in Omagh, that we found that there was a big difference in what we actually had as our resource materials. And when you see the likes of Yvonne, who really pushed the ILT resources and what she was delivering to the students, which we were all touching on, but maybe not to the extent that Yvonne was, it was at that point when we were using the likes of NLN and FANK materials, which we knew that we could utilise and bring together and to have a more structured resources. So when Blackboard became available, then it was a gradual process where we would build it all together and knit it all together, that each programme would be managed exactly the same. So in relation to which we'll show you now in a moment, the structure of the Blackboard of the VLE for each individual programme.
But it has definitely streamlined what we were already doing anyway, and now as we're sort of a couple of years into it, it's now at the stage where it's reducing our workload, and it has made just much better quality resources for the students. I think it's really enhancing the student experience too, albeit that it sometimes has to depend on the hardware being available or the computer rooms being available or whatever. But the virtualisation week last week, I think for all its disadvantages, or last year, God forbid, it definitely beat us down the road of getting students involved in using Blackboard, made us do it as well. So.
But I think some of the main issues that we've had putting it together was getting together and being able to actually have time where we would get together as a team, as a cross-campus team. So we tried doing it at the start of every year, start of every term, even before the students came, the end of August, start of September. And we've done that where we've gone to the Omagh campus and the Enniskillen campus, and they've come to Dungannon, both as whole teams and as individual course teams.
Then I've had the students have all merged together as well as part of that, so they recognise each other through Blackboard. They see each other's names and they know who's who and what campus.
But even with the use of Communicator, which is now Links, we find that very beneficial in the fact that it's just a matter of clicking on the computer, we can see and talk to each other, and then we can go through certain issues. And of course, as soon as you start talking to someone, there's obviously more issues then keep coming in, and that seems to resolve an awful lot as well, the use of Communicator. And the fact that other people from other campuses can then just be invited in if they're online very easily.
I think some of the problems, so it was not all, we're now at a stage where we're fine-tuning what we were already doing, because even with all those good things, there were still huge problems with it, and they were usually in and around ordinary housekeeping issues with Blackboard, the filing, the management of it, who was uploading what, was it a duplication, And that in itself triggered a couple of things that we were able to say, hold on a minute, that's, there was a bit of, there was a few wee stormy days, I think, where we realised that maybe some people were not assessing. It wasn't standard basically across the 3 campuses. So when we thrashed all that out, I suppose it highlighted that to us initially, and we thrashed those things out, but it was putting the Blackboard managers into place.
Yeah, I think
that's really
the Blackboard managers was certain that before there was a certain person allocated each programme. Staff would go in from each of the campuses and would be loading materials on that suited them for what they were delivering, and then certain things would be putting up on each of the course programmes which wouldn't correlate with the other courses and what they were uploading. So there was different things going on at different times, different materials for different subjects, so there seemed to be confusion both for staff and students. Then as soon as the managers were put in place, so each college or each campus got allocated a manager for each programme, and that's resolved all the issue. So they're the person who's responsible for loading the materials on for that course, and any other staff member that wants to load anything on goes through that manager for the programme. And
it's quite simple too, people are playing more to their strengths now, because some people are good at managing, they can throw something onto Blackboard in the wink of an eye, and other people are maybe just not as confident, and it's people are playing to their strengths, because others are maybe more creative in terms of the content and what they will upload, and other people just can get the stuff done quickly. And I think it's definitely helped in that regard. And students now go in, and instead of logging in and wondering, I wonder does that mean, is that for Enniskillen students or Loma students, to go in now and they know that everything has been standardised in terms of documentation. We're all using the same documentation now, we've all agreed the same documentation, and that was done very, very easily. And we only have one section on the Blackboard where they can go in and actually access a particular campus, and that's to do with assessment schedules. And even in terms of the assessment schedules, Blackboard has nearly made us all say, like, let's make this easy for ourselves. Let's try and lump together a lot of these assessments cross campus, because we can then. It's making our schemes work out easier. It's just making life easier.
Well, the collaboration.
Before we used to always be saying to each other, "What are you doing? What are you working on? And what unit are you doing?" Now we're actually just saying we all know where we are, because we're all looking at the same.
There's a whole assessment schedule for all campuses, so we know at level 1 PCD or professional curriculum diploma what weeks a certain assessments are going to take place. There may be various days, but we know that every campus will be taking the same assessment on the same week, with level 1 and level 2, and then level 3 there's schemes which is continual assessment. So each college will be doing virtually the same thing from week in, week out in relation to assessment.
But it has taken time to get where we are at the minute.
I think that was one of the biggest issues initially, was the amount of time and effort that was going to take. But as soon, and that was maybe which caused reluctance at the start. But now that people can see the benefits of it, we would be lost without it now. We wouldn't
the students are now seeing it as the forum that they're going to use to even work with us. They're using it. I mean, students go on, they keep a journal online. They email each other online, they email back to us, and they're picking up. Just for instance, last night I found a really good show that had been on BBC4, and was able to just email them. And even students today who are not in class but were down the LRC were able to come back up and say that already they've picked up that information. So it's getting it out there, and I think as we move on year, that's going to build. And it's definitely a blended learning and all the rest of it. We're doing all the things that we should be doing, I suppose. We're waiting for the snow. We're waiting for the snow to come. When the snow comes, we'll be flying. We're going to stay in bed for a month.
Yeah, with our study weeks.
Yeah, definitely. So,
right.
That's us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.